How I raised $7,000 on Kickstarter. Well, it starts with the project itself. In my case, a documentary film that I've been working on for several years. I wanted to find the money to finish it, to shoot a little bit more and to do the post-production, and then to have some money to enter it into film festivals. I set my goal at $6,000. I wish I could have set it at $10,000, but I thought $6,000 was a realistic figure and kind of the minimum that I would need to finish the project. Now, the first thing people see when they visit the Kickstarter project page is the video. Every Kickstarter project has a video to describe the project you're working on, why it's important, how you're going to do it, what you're going to spend the money on. I strongly suggest anyone who's going to do this type of crowdfunding that you look at a lot of videos for projects to get an idea of what works and what doesn't work. It doesn't have to be complicated, it can be very simple. In my case, I'm a filmmaker, I'm telling a story, I'm going to utilize content that I've already shot. Put that in my project video. And I also use video on my project page to introduce myself, more about my subject. The project page is very important. People read it to learn about you, the project, and to get some idea why they should help you. So it's got to be very clear what you're doing, where the money's going to go, how you're going to use it. In this case, a documentary film. Get funding to make sure it gets shown at festivals. So it's important for people to know where their money is going. And also on Kickstarter, another thing that's very important are the rewards. Different levels. People contribute $5, they get something, $10, $25. Most people contribute about $25. In my case, I had a couple of $1,000 contributors that raised the average to about $77. But most of the contributions are in the $25 range. And I tried to make the rewards utilize digital media as much as possible. I don't want to be sending out packages. Now, on my project, I wanted to set something unique up for those who could contribute a little bit more. For $150, you become an associate producer. And you're not just a witness, you're an actual participant. What I'm going to be doing during the editing process each week is posting my rough cut and then sending that out to my associate producers, those folks who contributed $150. They can give me their comments. So suddenly, you become part of the process. And I wish I could do that for everyone, but I had to set a level for that, 150 and above. And I think that motivated some people to actually contribute. Now, I think I did a pretty good job telling my story about Pauly Cohen, the trumpet player, who's my subject. But the truth is, when you make a documentary film, you're peeling an onion, and sometimes the next layer contains something you didn't even know about. The final film is probably going to be a bit different than how I think of it right now. But I needed some type of hook to describe my film. The strongest form of marketing in this age is viral marketing. When people hear about something, they get excited about it, and they pass it along. Be it a video clip, or a link to an article, or an event, or something like that. And a major component of that, when people share something with their friends, is how they describe it. So in all the media that I create, especially with viral media as the goal, I try to frame it in a way that it's easily describable. This is the story of a 90-year-old trumpet player who's still following his dream. Now that's a little corny, but it tells the story, and it worked. Once I set up my project page and my videos were in place, I also set up a website where people could get more information, and a Facebook page. Once the project was launched, I sent out an email to my email list. I've got about 500 people on that list. I also had my friend Jim Igo of Jazz Promo Services send out one of his e-blasts to about 10,000 people. I want to put the word out there to as many people as possible. I posted the Kickstarter video to my YouTube channel. I posted it on my Facebook project page, my own Facebook page, and tweeted it. And during the 30-day campaign, I posted 14 other videos. Now, I think there's a number of misconceptions about crowdfunding. Some people think it's like standing on a street corner with a cup and begging people to fork over their hard-earned money. I don't see it like that. I can only speak about the way that I did it. As I said, I didn't directly ask for people money, I posted content. My goal was to post video content about my story on a regular basis so that that would drive people's interest. As people saw more video, as they got to know my character, Pauly Cohen, better, they'd be more interested in the project. That worked for me. So utilized video during the project campaign, during the 30-day period, posting video on a regular basis to keep the interest in the project up. And that's a key element of this fundraising by crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, that you constantly got to be reaching out to your network, constantly letting people know, reminding them. Now, in doing this kind of project, I have certain advantages. I have a global community in place on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I can quickly create content and post it to a worldwide audience. But you don't necessarily need that. You do need some type of network in place, maybe not as large as mine. And the content that you create doesn't have to be a video. It could be an audio file, it could be text, it could be photographs, but there needs to be a steady flow of content to make these things work. And I've been following this practice since 1994. I started on the web at a company called N2K, a website called Jazz Central Station in the early .com days, and I learned back then a formula for success on the internet, a formula that I have followed and it continues to work. And that is compelling content, easily accessible, regularly updated. Something that people find interesting, that they can easily get to, and they know that it's going to come on a regular basis. I was wondering, why isn't such and such a friend giving me money? There's not that much to make a contribution. You can't do that. That's, first of all, you can't expect anybody to give you money because you don't know what's happening in their lives. These are very hard times financially for many people. So putting that expectation out there is not a good idea. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to figure out how you're going to get the money, when it's going to happen. You just put it out there, follow this process, which I'm talking about here. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's a very democratic process. 46% of projects get funded on Kickstarter, so 54% don't. I put my content every place that I could. I mean, I put it on Facebook, both the project page and my own page. I tweeted it, I put stuff up on YouTube. I tried to create a video that would serve as viral video so people would put it on their blogs. Some people did, but I hit a wall at a certain point during this project. I went through an 8-day period where nothing happened. And I thought that was it. I thought that the project was over. I was never going to make my goal. I was somewhere between, I guess I was about $3,600. I had $2,400 to go and just maybe 10 or 12 days left. A couple of things here about the timing of the project. I timed this to coincide with my birthday. Because I'm on Facebook and I've got a number of friends, I knew that people would be sending me birthday messages. They might be reading my postings. So that was a period which I would have a lot of public exposure on Facebook. Something else that happened that I never thought about was that I'm a great believer in the stars and astrology, and during the particular time of my project, during the first 3 weeks, Mercury was in retrograde. This can be very difficult and confusing times to get things done. If I had known that in advance, I might not have scheduled my project around that time. Now, as it turns out, the money came from 3 different sources. It came from friends, it came from my global community of supporters for my work as a jazz video guy. Over the past 7 years, I'm a known commodity in this niche arena of jazz. And a lot of people like my work and they wanted to help me. And also from people who just happened to find the project, either on Kickstarter or through this Facebook campaign that I started. They gave money as well. So now people are contacting me, congratulating me, saying that I've inspired them to do it. I encourage people to do it. I hope this video gives you some idea of how I did it. Each of us has our own journey. I think that it can work based on your ability to keep your audience interested and to have some type of network in place. There are people raising hundreds of thousands of dollars on Kickstarter and just a couple $100. It doesn't really cost anything to do this, it just takes time. If you're willing to devote the time and the effort, it might be worth it for you. I say, give it a try.